Salutations, people of the internet, welcome to the database. For years, many people who have played fighting games have that one character they would normally stick with, learn their moveset, their strengths and weaknesses, and try to master them. I'm no different in that category, for I played enough fighting games to know who my go-to mains are the split second I boot up the game. And for this video, I'll be listing, in no particular order, my top 5 fighting game mains I always use. To keep this list easy and simple as I can, I'll be choosing one main per franchise. Granted, from this tier list you see here, I have more than 5 fighting game mains, so the rest of the other characters might get their own spotlight in a future video. And who knows, you might see your main in this video and we can all relate to each other. Either that or I might make some new enemies. But who cares, it's my 5 picks, my 5 mains. To each their own, I say. Let's begin. Number 5. Cloud Strife for Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Was a platformer fighter mixed party game that was a blast to play for all ages, with a variety of Nintendo fan favorites, rest in peace the GOAT, and some third-party surprises. And throughout the Super Smash Bros. Series, there were third-party picks that made history, Solid Snake being the very first third-party character to join Smash Bros. From Konami's Metal Gear series, Sonic the Hedgehog after that. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate brought over Joker from Persona 5, Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury and King of Fighters, and friggin' Sora from Kingdom Hearts. But for this video, there was one main that got me hooked into playing Smash Bros. Let's go back to 2014, where Nintendo released Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U and 3DS. The first Smash Bros. To go HD and portable respectively. The roster was jam-packed as it was before the DLC, with guys like Pac-Man and Mega Man being the 2 big third-party characters to join. Smash Bros. Fan favorites like Mewtwo, Roy, and Lucas would return as DLC, and speaking of DLC, the new content would start coming in with the inclusion of Ryu from Street Fighter. Fast forward to November of 2015, where the unthinkable happened, as Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII would join the Smash Bros. Series. With his inclusion back in Smash 4, he would come equipped with his signature Buster Sword, his outfit from the animated movie Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, one of the game's iconic locations in Midgar, and tons of limit break moves from the original game. What I like about Cloud in Smash Bros. Was how he moved within the game. Out of all the characters in Smash, Cloud feels perfect in my hands because of his weight. For some characters, weight in Smash Bros. Is important because it determines how fast your character moves within the stage and how easily you'll get knocked off the stage after a high percentage rate. For Cloud, his Buster Sword gives his opponents a hefty amount of damage, but at the same time, he's light on his feet when it comes to mobility. In the original game he's from, without giving away any spoilers, Cloud is known to be a super soldier injected with a special serum that lets him carry this gigantic heavy sword. If you play Final Fantasy VII, you know. His projectile in Smash Bros. Has a long range that also covers some vertical areas above and below. In the air, it's slow, but the projectile works well on the ground. His down B special lets him charge his limit gauge, where once it's full, grants him powerful versions of his other special. Pressing down B again will unleash a finishing touch tornado, a one-hit move that easily KOs opponents at high percentages. Side B is a multi-hit close-range cross-slash that is perfect for close-range bait. My only issue that I have with Cloud is his recovery. At its normal state, it's kinda terrible if you're far away from the stage, but it can be useful as a special attack when on ground. If your limit break is fully charged, the amount of height you can get with Cloud's up B is very impressive. Overall, Cloud Strife is the one character who not only got me into Smash Bros., but it also got me into the world of Final Fantasy VII. Number 4. Noel Vermillion from BlazBlue. Here's a fighting game series that may or may not sound obscure to most fighting game players out there. This is BlazBlue, a series with probably one of the most complicated storylines in all of gaming. developed by Arc System Works, And yes, this is the same game developer company that makes Guilty Gear, and that all-new Marvel fighting game coming soon. 2 videos so far, I mentioned Marvel Tokon, this must be a sign. Back to BlazBlue, I won't go over the details and backstory regarding my main character pick, as she has a lot of baggage to uncover lore-wise. So if you want to learn more about Noelle Vermillion and all the other aspects within the BlazBlue universe, I recommend checking out Thorgy Arcade's video on the story of BlazBlue, as he covers majority of the BlazBlue story as coherent and understandable as possible. Instead, I'll be covering Noelle Vermillion's gameplay style and go over why I chose her to play whenever I boot up BlazBlue. When you see Noelle Vermillion on the surface level, you'll notice her guns and think that she might be a zoner, right? Noelle is actually the opposite of a zoner, as she considered a rushdown character with little projectile options. The difference between a zoner and a rushdown is that zoners heavily use projectiles, whereas rushdown fighters like to constantly go up close and in your face for attack. Noelle's rushdown gameplay is based on her unique drive mechanic. Drives in BlazBlue are a gameplay mechanic that gives each character a unique attribute to their fighting style. Like for Ragnar the Blood Edge, every drive attack lets him steal a portion of his opponent's HP, and Iron Tiger's drive is perfect as a grappler, as his magnetism draws his opponents closer towards him. For the case of Noelle, after pressing the drive button, activates a chain sequence. This chain sequence lets you chain together attacks based on your button inputs, almost like Smash Brothers. Though in this game, such as BlazBlue, Chrono Phantasma, and Central Fiction, these games introduce the overdrive mechanic, a buffed up version of a character's drive. And for Noelle, this makes her chain revolver drive faster than normal. And you can end her chain sequence with different enders that give her different options. Bloom Trigger as a projectile that pushes the opponent back, Assault Through as a cross-up, and Spring Raid as a DP launcher. Her other specials include an optic barrel projectile that covers half to full screen, and a leaping grab command, and an aerial ender for an air combo. Though I'm personally not great at BlazBlue on a high turning level, Noelle's gameplay fits right for me for an Arxis game that is fast-paced than a traditional SNK or Capcom fighter. And rushdown characters like Noelle Vermillion is someone who can keep up with the pace of the game, while also having different options to pressure her opponent, keeping her opponents guessing during her chain revolver drive each time she activates it. Also in the English dub for BlazBlue's first 3 games, she is voiced by Christina V, one of my favorite voice actresses who also voiced a half-genie hero, Shantae, so I'm a little biased. Number 3. Sakura Kasugano. The last 2 characters on this list are based on the small amount of game titles they appeared in. For the next 3 characters, they appeared in multiple games and series. They've surely made changes to their gameplay style in each one. Okay, I lied on the last one. They played almost one by one. There are only minor changes that made them feel different. Anyways, Sakura Kasugano made her debut in Street Fighter Alpha 2 as a Ryu fangirl who she sees as an idol of inspiration, wanting to become a Street Fighter as strong as Ryu. This story arc for Sakura stays in the same for her other appearances, such as Street Fighter Alpha 3, that one appearance in Rival Schools, and up to Street Fighter 4. Her story arc gets a little shake up in Street Fighter 5, where she makes her return in that game as a DLC. In her arcade ladder of the said game, she's all grown up, working at her local arcade, now questioning the true meaning of street fighting. That is until she runs into Ryu again, and after a little heart-to-heart conversation, Sakura figures out her life's purpose of raising a child of her own, passing down her fighting legacy, ignoring the implications of wanting Ryu to bear her child. As for her gameplay style, she plays almost similarly to her idol, a fireball, projectile, DP, and tornado kick, But her style of Ryu's Shotokan is a little different. Her fireball is something you need to charge up, as her initial fireball is very small, yet covers great rate. Larger charge up version is powerful but covers less ground. Her DP does multiple hits as she likes to run forward, and her tornado spinning kick sends her forward in an arc, as opposed to Ryu and Ken's version being straightly horizontal. She also has moves that are exclusive to her, apart from Ryu and Ken. Her DP kick input sends her in the air, and you can follow it up with 3 punch attacks. This move wouldn't be a thing in her moveset until games like Alpha 3 and Capcom vs SNK. Speaking of, Sakura is somewhere in the top tier in Capcom vs SNK 2. If you pair Sakura up with the game's A groove and perform a perfect sequence of DP inputs, and you can paint the fence to victory, sweeping the competition. I don't have footages of Sakura's gameplay in Street Fighter 4 and 5, as she shares a similar moveset in those games, but I at least love the new and classic outfits for her in both games. My hopes as of this video is seeing her return in the latest Street Fighter 6 game, maybe as Year 4 DLC. Number 2, Elisa Bosconovich. I started getting into Tekken series last year. I started with Tekken 6 because it was the one game compatible with my PlayStation Vita. The first character I decided to play around with was the chainsaw wielding, rocket launching robot from Russia. Throughout her appearances in all the Tekken games, she's been known as a notorious addition to the roster, as her chainsaws and fast sidesteps cause a lot of frustration for players that are fighting against her. Fast forward to games like Tekken 7 and 8 where she's been given new tools to mess around with, and you just have a robot that can't be stopped. Elisa Bosconovich debuted in Tekken 6, the first Tekken game to become multi-platform, as the first 5 games in Tekken Tag 1 were exclusive to the PlayStation. She's a robot created by the in-universe scientist Dr. Bosconovich, programmed initially to take orders by Jin Kazama, which is a whole other bag of worms I'll save for later. As for stuff she can do across all of her game appearances, her chainsaws gives her a wide variety of mix-ups. Mix-ups for this game range from whether a move is high, mid, or low attack moves. Also, majority of the footage you see here are taken from Tekken 7 and 8, so whatever I might be describing might not be entirely accurate. Elisa is known to have the best sidestep maneuverability in the Tekken series. Her basic sidestep can also lead her to her best poking options, such as 1-1, down forward 3, down 4, 1+2, and in the case of Tekken 8, 2-2. The last one being perfect for punishing the game's rage art. Elisa comes equipped with different stances that have different follow-ups. Her back one, known as backup, puts her at a crouching state that leads to a high launching rocket projectile. Pressing forward 3+4 boots her forward, leading to a high elbow attack, a low slide, and 2 launchers, one of them being a multi-hit. Elisa also has a dual boot option during her chainsaw stance, which can be activated with down 1+2. In Tekken 8, as of this video and as of the current season, they've given Elisa not only a hell sweep by performing dual boot 2-2, but also a homing mid attack that is safe on block by performing dual boot 1+2. I can literally make a separate video gushing over how I enjoyed maining Elisa during Tekken 8. But I can save that for another time. Elisa may be a controversial addition to the Tekken cast, but she will definitely be the one that helped me get introduced to the world of Tekken, with her fun gameplay that is easy to memorize. And who doesn't love those chainsaws? That apparently does huge amount of chip damage in Tekken 8. Okay, I kinda see it. Number 1. King from the King of Fighters. I mentioned this in a few of my previous videos, but for those who haven't watched them, one of my favorite fighting game franchises is the King of Fighters, a team-based 3-on-3 fighting game with lore that spans across 30 years, though for the case of this character, maybe a bit longer than that. King debuted in Art of Fighting, the prequel game to the Fatal Fury franchise. In this game, King was a bouncer who worked for the game's final boss, Mr. Big. She disguised herself as as a man in order to blend in with the other male fighters. Her disguise won't last long as she would be defeated by Ryo Sakazaki, the main protagonist of Art of Fighting. In this game, as well as a sequel, Art of Fighting 2, King revealed she'd done all this in order to earn some money for her little brother's surgery. In many of King's later appearances in the King of Fighters, she retains the same backstory in Art of Fighting, and she's commonly known to be the leader of the Team Women Fighters team in many of the KOF installments. If not, she'll also be a team member representing Team Art of Fighting with Ryo Sakazaki and Robert Garcia. King's specials are very easy to input, not just because she has the basic Fireball, DP, and Tatsu inputs, but most of her command specials are tied to the kick button. In KOF and many SNK fighting games, the game gives you 4 buttons, light and heavy versions of punches and kicks, but you can also press light punch and light kick for an evasive roll, and a heavy punch and heavy kick for strong knock, maintaining distance between you and your opponent. Going back to King's special inputs, aside from a select few of moves, depending on the KOF game you're playing, her basic stuffs are tied to the kick buttons. Her Venom Strike Fireball, not only the fastest fireball in the KOF series, but it's also one you can deliver in mid-air. The light version stops you in place, and the heavy and EX version pushes you back. You can even perform double fireballs for extra coverage. Her DP input, Trap Kick, is kind of an anti-air but not an optimal one, but it's a good close range attack and works well for small hop. Tornado Kick is her Tatsu that covers a lot of ground, and with the right timing and inputs you can combo off of it. I have videos on this channel dedicated to King's gameplay in KOF 15, so if you have time after this video, feel free to check them out. Out of all the characters I've listed as my fighting game mains, King is someone who I enjoy playing the most. I solely play as her in majority of the King of Fighter games she's playable in, and her moveset feels right at home. King is one of the SNK's famous zoners with the fastest fireball speed. Her character design and in-game sprites blur the lines between male and female perfectly, which goes well with her backstory. My favorite outfits of King being the ones from KOF 15 and her base outfit from KOF 13, the first KOF game I ever played. She's one of the easier characters to learn when getting into KOF, though that's a discussion for another time. Now I'm thinking about doing a King of Fighters video on this channel. I'll close off this section by saying this. When it comes to picking characters in fighting games, I personally believe that you should pick ones that appeal to you the most, rather than following the meta or who's top tier. For King, there may be higher top tier picks over her, but I can't see myself playing any other character but her. So who are your mains in your favorite fighting games you play? Do you stick to one character or do you try to learn multiple characters in one game? Let me know in the comments section below. I'm CJ Styles, and I'll see you next time.
ねえねえキングさん、彼氏とはうまくいってる？いつもうやむやに終わっちゃうじゃない。今回こそデートの約束くらいしときなさいよ。
要は彼氏じゃない。それにってデートなんてからかうんじゃないよ。くだらないこと言ってないでさっさとかかってきな。